Hello, Ray Phoenix here, and this is X-Men 2, The Clone Wars on the Sega Genesis. This game is pretty good. You get a good selection of characters to play as in this game. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer, essentially, where you run around, you have to guess where things are a lot of the time, and attack them. This game is very unpredictable. You never know. It's hard to react quickly to things that come out at you and attack you. There's evil ninja clones are off right now. And this game is called X-Men 2, The Clone Wars. Clone Wars. I wonder if George Lucas had anything to do with this game. He probably did, considering how much action there is in the game and how much unpredictability there is in this game. Things that George Lucas seems to think will sell. But yeah, you get to play as Wolverine. Wolverine's one of the best characters to play this game, as you probably guessed, since he can regenerate his health. If he ever gets hit, if he ever gets damaged or scratched or whatever, he can easily just replenish his health. Easy. It's easy as that. Just have to have him stand around for a few minutes, which kind of gets boring and tedious, but it comes in useful for some boss fights and a lot of levels of the game. It's one of the characters you play as most of the time in this game. A lot of the characters in this game are kind of useless. Some of them are very weak and don't really do much. Some of them are strong like tanks and are better for levels that have a lot of destruction at you. And in this level, it's kind of weird, is when this game begins, there's no title screen in this game. There's not even the Sega logo or anything like that. It literally just throws you into the game and allows you to choose a random character, which I typically fail at that part anyways, so I cut that part out because I don't think any of you want to see that. So yeah, Wolverine's a much better character in this game. As I keep saying earlier, he's one of the best characters from X-Men. And this game was using AVGN's inference on the X-Men games, where he says we went from Wolverine having no claws at all, to partially having claws, then to somewhat having claws, to now fully having his adamantium claws. Because it's a definitive aspect of Wolverine, the fact that he has those definitive claws. That is a definitive characteristic of Wolverine's, the fact that he has his adamantium claws. And he could heal himself too whenever he gets injured or damaged or scratched or whatever. He could always just instantly heal himself. I wonder if his emotional heart heals like that too. You know, if his heart ever gets shattered by failed romances or things like that, yeah, he probably could instantly heal from things like that too. So right now, you see, we're still in the snowy level. You can see we're having to jump around here. I have to jump onto those ledges and jump and miss those ninjas. You have to break through the ice walls as well as ice. I wonder why they build things out of ice. I know, last time I checked, ice is not a really good material to build stuff with. And there's a screen you can't skip where it just shows X-Men, The Clone Wars, X-Men 2, the title screen. It's not even really a title screen. Well, technically it's a title screen. But it says press start anywhere there. You don't get any options. There's only one difficulty in this game, and it's hard mode. So now you can see we're in some kind of factory, someplace they're building the Sentinels. You know, the Sentinels, in case you don't know, X-Men Sentinels, there's big robot things that hunt down mutants and kill them. What are mutants? Go watch X-Men if you don't know what mutants are. I'm not going to spend hours here explaining what mutants are, explain what X-Men is. I'm going to explain whatever franchises are. Whenever you see me play stuff, like whenever you see me play Star Wars games, I don't spend a lot of hours talking about what Star Wars is. I assume most of you know what Star Wars is. Or if you don't know what Star Wars is, go watch a Star Wars movie. Go read an X-Men comic. Go watch an X-Men movie. They're really good. They're better than a lot of those Avengers movies. That's how good they are. No, seriously, X-Men movies are better than the Avengers movies. And now they're going to be in the Avengers movie soon, now that Disney bought 20th Century Fox, which was somewhat of a good idea, but at the same time, I wish Disney could have bought out Sony. Sony deserves to be bought out more than 20th Century Fox. So yeah, we're in some kind of laboratory, see some kind of lab factory place, which a lot of 90s comics seem to have, and a lot of 90s video games seem to have places like these in them. It's kind of obligatory for games of the genre, if you ask me. Crash Bandicoot had a laboratory level in it. Even Jumping Flash had laboratory levels, and even Sonic the Hedgehog had laboratory levels, and that was also on the Genesis and came out years earlier. So yeah, that's pretty much what this game's like. It has laboratory levels in this game. Which makes sense, because it's about X-Men, it's about mutants and comic books and superheroes and everything like that. I wonder what Stan Lee thinks of this game. I wonder if Stan Lee approved of this game. I wonder if Jack Kirby approved of it. Well, no, this game came out after Jack Kirby died, so I don't know if Jack Kirby would have known about this game when it came out. This game also came out in 1995 as well. And as you know, like I said about Vector Man, that was very late in the Sega Genesis timeline. That was after a lot of other stuff came in. By then, PS1 and Sega Saturn was out. And a lot of stuff on PS1 and Sega Saturn that came out that year is better than this game. This is by far, this game is good, but it's not the best X-Men game. But it's not one of the worst X-Men games here. There's a lot of X-Men games that are a lot worse than this game. Like there's the X-Men games on the NES. There's that Wolverine game on the Sega Genesis, which is really bad. So yeah, there's some bad games, but it's definitely not the best game either. X-Men Reign of Apocalypse on the Game Boy Advance is a far better game than this, because that game's a lot more true and a lot more faithful to the 90s arcade X-Men game. This game is nothing like the X-Men arcade game from the 90s, which is really good, and sadly, that game never came out on the Genesis or SNES. It never got any real ports. The closest thing that ever came out to it was X-Men Reign of Apocalypse on the Game Boy Advance, which didn't come out until like 2001, years later, and even then, it still wasn't an exact translation of the original arcade game to a console or something. It's not an arcade machine. This is a clip, and this isn't anywhere close. This game's very different. This is more like a Shinobi game almost. And then again, I think this game's a little bit better than Shinobi anyways. There's Revenge of Shinobi, there's Shinobi 3, I'm not the biggest fan of Shinobi. I mean, it's somewhat okay, but I was never really an overly big fan of Shinobi. I'm not like Mark from Classic Gamer. I mean, he's a huge fan of Shinobi. I think you see, I just destroyed 2 probe droids in Star Wars. Yeah, that's more reason why I think George Lucas is saying of this game. Well, if they're using probe droids from Empire Strikes Back to attack us, and Wolverine could slash us apart easy with his adamantium claws. So yeah, what do you know? What do you expect? So there's a lot of Star Wars influence in this game. I'm pretty sure George Lucas did have something to do with this game. Come on, what did George Lucas not have anything to do with? A lot of people's lives are based around Star Wars. A lot of people base their whole lives around Star Wars. So where would those people be if George Lucas is never around? Who knows? Maybe they'll be X-Men fans instead. Who knows? I mean, for me, I know I've said this in a previous video, but for me, Marvel kind of replaced my interest in Star Wars. I think I said that in my X-Men Reign of Apocalypse video, that my interest in Marvel replaced my interest in Star Wars really as being my #1 main interest. And I have been playing a lot of Marvel games a lot lately, as you probably know. It's because, I'm really into Marvel. It probably is my favorite franchise right now. My favorite thing right now is Marvel. So, yeah, as you could probably guess, if you ever look at my DeviantArt stuff recently, there's a lot of my stuff on DeviantArt. It's all Marvel-themed, Marvel-related, Marvel-based, so yeah, you can probably guess I'm a big fan of Marvel from that. This game's very unpredictable, as I said earlier. It would be worse. What could be worse is there was another game like this called Bubsy and Fractured Furry It's called Bubsy and Fractured Furry Tales. But what was worse about that game was, Bubsy dies whenever he gets hit by anything. He can touch air and he dies. He can run against air and he'll die. Everything kills Bubsy Bobcat. At least Wolverine's a much better video game character than Bubsy Bobcat. Heck, any X-Men character is a better video game character than Bubsy Bobcat. I'm pretty sure we all know. I wonder if Bubsy Bobcat's a mutant. Maybe that's why he gets killed in one hit. Maybe that's his mutation. He gets killed in one hit. Maybe that's why he's a mutant, because everything kills him in one hit. Because in Fury, mutations don't necessarily do good things for people. They could do bad things for people too, in Fury, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why Bubsy Bobcat dies in one hit. Maybe Bubsy Bobcat's a mutant. Maybe he's been a mutant this whole time. Never really thought of that until now. I just came with it now. Hey, maybe Alex Kidd also has that same mutant power, because Alex Kidd was pretty pathetically weak as well. In case you don't know who Alex Kidd was, he was Sega's mascot before Sonic. He was replaced with Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog's a much better mascot for Sega than Alex Kidd. So, I don't really... And he kind of sucked anyways. So, I guess Sega kind of have all the reason to replace him with Sonic the Hedgehog. So, yeah, I guess that was just. And now we destroyed this computer, then we had to fight this computer face thing they had to fight. And now we have to go back up the elevator and escape this place before we get destroyed. Much like the Millennium Falcon after it destroyed the Death Star in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.